doing way better than I am, but if you do, then please would you ensure that your mobile phone is either switched off or at least turned to silent. Can I also announce, I've been asked to let everybody know that our shows that start after 11 p.m. tonight are not happening. So the last shows are anything starting 10 something. Those are the last shows that are on this evening. Anything after 11 will not happen. Thank you very much for coming. Please do enjoy the show. We'll get underway just in a few moments. When the music starts, the iPad is live. So.
Good evening, Summer Hall here at the Edinburgh International Magic Festival. How amazing is that? How are you doing? Are you good? Are you good over here? Yeah, are you good? Good over here? Small crowd but good. Small crowd but good. Are we good up there, Ian, in the tech box? Good. Good, good. Okay, I'm good. I'm good. I'm goodish. I'm goodish, actually. I'm not very good at all, actually. I feel really terrible since last week's referendum results. I feel really hopeless and totally dejected, and yeah, I hate to bring this up at a late night magic show, but I've just spent a week lying in bed just having panic attack after panic attack, and I almost didn't make it up here, so what's the point of doing card tricks? Everything's falling apart, like. But we have each other. Yeah, we have each other. Or at least so I thought until last Thursday. And we do have each other. We have friends, and so the reason I'm here is because of a good friend of mine. He convinced me to come up in the end. And a good friend of mine, a colleague, magician. In fact, he's one of the best-known magicians in the UK at the moment. I won't say his name to sort of protect his identity. Let's call him Dynamite. I could have chosen a better disguise, but anyway, so I called up Dynamite and I said, you know, I just don't think I can hack it. I mean, it's like being, you know, one of the orchestra on the sinking Titanic. Like, surely we should be doing something as opposed to just playing a little tune, you know, to distract us. My friend said, he said, but come on, Vincent. It's exactly at times like these that people need magic. Yeah, people need to dream, to imagine the impossible. You know? And I said, yeah, okay, thanks, Dynamite, but like, I've lost the will to dream. What's going to motivate me to go up to Edinburgh and perform card tricks, you know? And he said, okay, Vincent, look at it this way. You signed your contract, haven't you? So you have to go. So that changed my mind. And he also said this. He said 2 words of advice. Number 1, don't mention Brexit. Okay, I said fine. I went. Number 2, he said, don't try one of your sneaky things where you change the patter your magic show to fit with the current political crisis, okay? No sneaky references to the referendum fallouts, no clunky metaphors, yeah, just keep it light, entertaining magic. That's what people want to see. I said, okay, fine, I'll do that, okay. So that's my friend, and thanks to him I got on the train this morning, and here I am to do some magic. So, tell you what, just because the energy in the room has slightly ebbed away, this whole spiel, partly my fault. And I'll tell you what I'll do. If we could we have the song again, if you don't mind, and I'll walk out and I'll come back on in the same way. And if you could clap, that would be great. And that way, sort of high energy, and I'll go straight to the magic act. Without interruptions, and forget all of this bit. Yeah, so we'll try it this way. Edinburgh International Magic Festival. How amazing is that? How are we doing? Are you good? You good up here? Yeah, you good? Good over here? Good in the tech box? Good. We're good then. Okay, I'm good. So I'm good. So let's do some magic. I've got a pack of cards. Cards are good because they are magic. I mean, the cards aren't magic, but cards are ordinary. But with with skill or showmanship, you can create the illusion of extraordinary effects, like the cards it's disappeared, or it changes color, the magic thing, the tricks that magicians do, where they travel through space. Or this is hopeless. It's just a facade, isn't it? I have got one thing to thank Brexit for. Yeah, no, I do. Think of, it has it's totally destroyed my, my hope in the future of the UK and Europe and all the political class. But it has allowed me, it gave me lots of time to think when I was lying in bed having panic attacks. I just thought a lot about magic, and I realised that I don't actually believe in magic. And what I mean by that, it's actually quite a historical point I want to make. I mean, we are in a lecture theatre after all. You've got your desk, so you won't mind if I do a little digressive lecture here, because you see, magicians, really, the modern magician, came about in the 19th and early 20th century. And one of the ways they did this was by basically debunking so-called spiritualists and mediums. People who claim to be able to communicate with the dead, or to have supernatural powers. What the magicians did, you see, is they replicated all of those feats without claiming supernatural powers. The magicians said, no, it's just misdirection, it's trickery, it's sleight of hand, it's smoke and mirrors. So essentially magicians made jobs for themselves by destroying magic, saying it's not real. Which is interesting, because nowadays effectively the job is really hard, because on the one hand you have to create wonder and magic and amazement, like, wow, how's that possible? But on the other hand, the job of the magician is to remind his audience, her audience, that everything they're seeing is just complete nonsense. It's not real magic. There's no such thing. It's just tricks. It's just fake. It's theatre, So, like, we want the audience to be really skeptical. And also amazed and wowed. So it's a really it's a really difficult thing to reconcile, and a lot of magicians just can't handle it after a while of doing it professionally. They lose it, they crack up, and they cave in, and they end up on, well, not on the street exactly, they end up usually in a square. I don't know where in Edinburgh they would be, but in London, where I live, they end up in Trafalgar Square, or in Covent Garden, and they're not performing their act. No, they are sitting. They spend all day sitting on a kind of weird hidden structure with a pole at the side. So they hold on to this pole, so it looks like they're hovering. Have you seen these guys with the pole? And those are basically magicians who have just been torn up inside by the internal contradictions of their art form, and they just sit there all day. And they usually wear a mask, like a Yoda mask. Yeah, doesn't have any artistic purpose. It's just to cover up the tears, the constant crying of the ex-magicians. So next time you see these floating Yodas, toss them a coin and just think to yourselves, wow, here's someone who's been broken by doing the very thing they loved. Okay, so let's do some magic, yeah? So anyway, so I've got a pack of cards. I keep getting distracted, but a pack of cards. Now, cards are great, aren't they? Because they are, because they're all different. So, you have a four of diamonds, and you have a 7 of diamonds or ace of hearts. Each card is unique. And so for this trick, what I'd like to do is to have several cards selected. So I'm gonna ask several of you to look at a card and remember it. If for whatever reason you don't want to participate, that's fine. But it would be great if you did. So I'm just going to go off mic for a moment. And you realise I don't need the microphone at all. It's such a small room. You can hear me fine. So pointless. And can I ask you to just kindly tell you what? I'll just go through the cards. Could you just say stop? Stop. Okay, about here. So if I show you that card, could you make a mental note? Could I ask you, I'll leave that card in the same place. Could I ask you to do the same thing? Just say stop. And could you make a mental note of that card? Fantastic. And could you also do the same? Could you say stop? Stop. Could you make a mental note? And you so as well. Could you just say stop? Make a mental note. And let's have one more. Could I skew in the third row? Just say stop. So you've got that card. Can you remember that? Okay, so I'll leave that where it is. The others. Now we've had a number of cards selected. Now one thing I forgot to mention, notice the difference in the voice, is that because each card is different and they have different personalities, effectively, different character traits. It's true. And the funny thing is that depending on which card you stopped at, card you chose, that card actually reveals something about your personality. It's true. It's not true, obviously. It's a preposterous thing for an adult audience to even entertain. Come on. But for the sake of the show, let's say that there is a strong connection between you and whatever card you happen to have chosen. Yeah, it's pretty amazing, isn't it? So let's have a few more cards. Could I ask you? Let's just say stop. Yeah. Can you remember this card? Maybe the person behind. Could you also kindly say stop? Stop. Can you remember this one? That's the person behind. Can you say stop? Stop. Could you remember this? That's 6 so 3. And let's see. Perhaps could I ask you, madam? Could you say stop? Could you remember this one? Dark, isn't it? You got it? Yeah. You've got a memory backup behind you in case you need it. Yeah, so we've had a number of cards selected. Now, the funny thing is that because of this sort of amazing connection between people and cards, it's possible for the cards to simply manifest themselves. I don't have to do anything. Simply by calling out their names, simply by calling them out, the cards just appear. It's amazing. It doesn't matter where the cards are in the pack, is it? Oh wait, why is this one face up? No one shows the. No, okay. That's not part of the trick. It is part of the trick. Yeah, that's a really good example of misdirection, and there are several more coming up. So watch out. Okay, so let's start. So the first card I believe was you. So what was the card that you selected? You can say now. 2 of Hearts. The 2 of Hearts is a rather elegant card, actually. Quite swish. Right, watch closely. All I have to do is cut the deck like so. One card jumps out. The 2 of Hearts that you selected. Notice it of its own accord, just like that. And then I believe we had another card. What was the card that you selected? Queen of Hearts. Queen of Hearts is interesting. Is quite precise. Quite methodical. In fact, likes to do things in steps. Yeah, steps of 4, for example. Watch closely. 1, 2, 3, 4. Queen of Hearts. Notice how the cards simply jump out of their own accord. Yeah, I mean, obviously they don't. It's me doing the manipulating all the time, but just so we're clear. And then I believe, was it you? What was the card that you selected?
Four of clubs.
Four of clubs is interesting. It's a bit of a mime artist, a bit of an entertainer. Yeah. Much closer with a thread of hair wrapped around the deck, just pulling one card. The four of clubs. Now, no, thanks. Yeah, obviously I should point out I don't have a thread of hair on my fingers. That would be silly, you know. But well, that's funny. I do have a thread of hair, but that's not. No, it's not part of the trick. I believe, was it you, sir, who had another card? Sorry, the
Four of spades.
Four of spades. Okay, very similar to the four of clubs. But watch the clubs. Very, very slowly, as they metamorphise into the four of spades. It just happens of its own accord. I mean, it takes 2 years to practice. And then, was it you in the third row? What was the card that you saw? Six of spades. Six of spades. Now, six of spades is interesting. It's the kind of card, a six of spades, that likes to make a surprise social entry. You know, so for example, you might be in the middle of a conversation with someone like, I don't know, I wish I'd voted last Thursday at the referendum. And then all of a sudden, one card jumps out of the pack, just like that. It is, of course, your six of spades. Yeah, that's funny. And now, obviously it doesn't jump out. You know, I have to kind of spot it and then kick it. But you know, just so we're clear. So then, who did we have? Oh, was it you, sir? What was the card that you? Two of diamonds. I love the two of diamonds. Not you. I love the card because it's salt of the earth. Salt of the earth. You know this expression. It's just no pretense. It's just what it is. Just a cut. The two of diamonds. I've got nothing to say about that actually. It's just perfect, isn't it? I don't know. And then I believe maybe we went. Where did we go? Where did we go to? Oh, don't tell me yet. I'm getting a sense. This is a card you can trust. You can trust this card, and without even looking, one card emerging out of the deck of its own accord. And let's see if it's worked. I don't know. Four of spades. No. What was the card that you saw? The seven of diamonds. Okay, yeah. It takes time for trust to be established. Yeah, sometimes. And so from the four of spades to the seven of diamonds, it takes about 3 seconds. About 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. The seven. The funny thing is, of course, you know, trust also fades away, doesn't it? So, yeah. No, it doesn't. Okay, so then, was it you, sir, who chose one of the cards? 10 of clubs. Ten of clubs. Ten of clubs. Ten of clubs enjoys traveling. Yeah, traveling. The Ten of clubs enjoys. I've run out of things to say. So the Ten of clubs enjoys traveling, which is why, just watch closely. One card jumps out of the pack, just travels through the air, and it hovers around about here. And it doesn't stop here. It flies all the way to the back of the theatre, to the door. But it doesn't stop there either. It goes through the door and it goes on the street outside Summer Hall, and then when it's on the street, the Ten of Clubs gets on a bus and it goes all the way to the airport. And at the airport, it doesn't stop there, of course. It boards a plane and it goes to Lisbon in Portugal, and has a lovely time in Portugal. Nice weather, and but it doesn't stop there. It goes travels over to Spain. No border controls, no passport checks, just freedom of movement, just complete freedom of movement for the alternate clubs. That goes to Spain, then goes to France, from Spain to France, and from France to Germany, then down to Austria, Italy. It's great, and meets loads of nice people. Apologises all the time for breaking up the world, and then it goes all the way down to the south of Italy, and then once it gets there, it boards another plane and comes all the way back to Edinburgh and flies through that door, and it literally just flies and lands down underneath your seat. But it doesn't stop there. No, it doesn't stop there. See, it enjoys travelling so much, it flies all the way up to the ceiling, and it hovers around, and then it drops down into my front right trouser pocket. Without further ado, your card. The 10 of clubs. Yeah. And then I believe we had another card up here. Was it? Good, okay. So there's an element of skepticism in the room. That's really good. It means I've done my job well, so it makes me proud. Of course, you do have to realize the card in my pocket really did travel magically. Yeah, it really did. Around Europe, and it really is, of course, your 10 of clubs. Yes, you have to understand. Yeah, no, thanks. So I think what's happened now is that you're kind of like on board with all the skepticism. Yeah, you understand it's all tricks. But I think we need to work on the other side, the kind of, wow, like how is that possible? The magic, enchantment. Because otherwise you'll just walk out here going, it's tricks. Yeah, I want you to kind of be torn and it's like, is it magic or is it not? You know, you need to be a bit messed up, so otherwise it won't be good. Okay, so maybe with the last card we'll try and get the wow, the kind of like, it must be real magic, you know. So let's try and leave the skepticism aside a little bit. Okay, so perhaps for the last one, could you be so kind? I know you're sitting in the fourth row, which is normally a sign of I do not want to participate, but I trust, trust me, it won't be horrible. Could you come and join me here on stage? And please, a big round of applause just to help. Thank you so much. Now, I promise I won't make this difficult. I hate being called up on stage, so when I have to do it, I try and be mindful of. In a moment, I will ask for your card, and again, we're going to try and do the same thing: the traveling of the card, because you can do it with almost any card in the deck. And the card will fly magically through the air, land in my pocket. But I don't want to, put my hand in my pocket because people think, oh, he's doing something. So I would like to ask you to put your hand in my pocket, take out the card, hopefully if it's travelled, and show it to the audience like this. And the applause will be amazing because that's the finale. Yeah. Thank you for your help. So for the first time, what was the card that you saw in there? Sorry, the 7 of clubs. 7 of clubs. Yeah, no, okay, it's fine. Okay, it's a bit of a problem with the 7 of clubs. This is not a reflection of you, but the 7 of clubs is an awful card. Yeah, okay, no reflection, but it has a horrible personality. It's no reflection of you, but it's just one of those cards that, it just kind of likes to create division among people, exploits people's fears and ignorance for the sake of its own political gain. And we should all be very, very, very distrustful of this card. Anyway, but let's try and do the magic. So yeah, here's the real magic. So the 7 of clubs. Yeah, watch closely. One card. As it flies out of the pack, flies through, and it lands in my right front trouser pocket. Would you be so kind to put your hand and take out one card, hopefully it has worked, please, and show the whole audience, and the applause will be amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, the Joker, oh no, hold on, there was another card, the King of Diamonds, wait, that's not there's one card here, the 4, wait. Did you take out the right, so there are 2 cards, a King and a Queen. I knew the 7 of clubs would do this. Look, there are 3. Okay, hold on. There's a few more here. Can I just? You might need to make a little tray with your hands because there's really quite a lot of cards. I think I get the impression that all the cards have flown away to get away from one card on its own little island. In splendid isolation. It is, of course, your 7 of clubs. Thank you very much. Thank you. Have a good night. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's probably still time to pop along. I think Luke Eaton's show may have started a little late and there's probably some capacity there. So just pop along to the anatomy, have a look at what Luke's got to offer. Other than that, the last shows from Elliot until